What's up? Welcome, everybody. This is the Scorpio season workshop. If you are here with us live, thank you for joining us. If you are downloading the recording, thank you for joining us. This information it's applicable really like throughout the whole season. What I'm going to describe today is Scorpio season overall, the kind of energies that Scorpio works with. We'll get into the planets and the houses and some of that stuff. If you don't know what I'm talking about ever, I will always describe. So don't get too caught up on the language. You will get the recording 24 hours later. It automatically gets sent out. So you don't need to email anybody. You don't need to do anything at all. It will show up. If you ordered the recording and you're not here live, go back to your downloads and you will find the workbook. The workbook is in your downloads. So there's two files. There is actually, I think this video, you're redirected to YouTube, and then the actual download is the workbook. So that is the logistics. Thank you all for coming here. Thank you for spending your time, your energy, your resources. It's so nice to connect and to see so many faces in front of me, which is always really cool. A lot of us from all over the world, which is amazing. We have a chat that is open at all times. So you guys can share your contact information. It's nice to connect with other people who are doing the same work. If you guys want to share your Instagram or your websites and you want to say, I'm a Reiki healer and this is my website, then share that so you guys can all connect and you can maybe meet some new people, which is great. This is a time to sort of work through those fears. So if anybody's like, oh, I do want to promote myself, but I don't know if I'm, it's just do it. This is the time to level up, stand in your power, make the decision, let's go. So today we're going to talk about Scorpio season. We are going to talk about the planets right now because there's a lot of planetary action. And we are moving into eclipse season in 2 days, and eclipses are a big, big time of change. This is an event that happens twice a year. So we have eclipses now, and in 6 months, we will have eclipses again. And these 6-month markers, these eclipse markers, are a shift in timelines is the easiest way to say it. So everything that we build, everything that we focus on healing, everything that we focus on integrating and manifesting sort of within that 6-month period, once we get to eclipse season, it's like the Rubik's Cube shifts, and now we're on the other side of receiving all of that stuff. It might not be the full culmination, but it is progressing, it is moving, or we are releasing, we are clearing. We're doing both. So Scorpio season is a really potent time for transformation because Scorpio is one of the most intense signs in the zodiac, and it's because it is tied to water, which is our emotions. Our body is also made majority out of water, so we feel in the body a lot of our experience, if not our entire experience. It's fixed water. So when you think of Scorpio and you think of fixed water, think of ice, for example. Ice is not moving. You have to thaw it out. It's going to take some time. And also to create ice, you need to go from liquid water, regular water, and you need to cool it, and it needs to go through a process of solidification. So there's no quick overnight movement with working through that transformation. However, if you know Scorpio or you have Scorpio placements in your chart, Scorpio is very quick to be fuck no, door closed, locked. So it is once we decide on the change, we're pretty committed. We're pretty boom, this is what I'm doing. This is the shift and we're going through it. And then of course that is an initiation point. And now we have to move through embodying and actually integrating that transformation, which of course is going to take time, like everything. So this is a big season of transformation, of destruction, but only in the sense that we are looking to rebuild, and we want to rebuild even better, even stronger, even more in alignment. And Scorpio is a very destructive sign because it is connected to the planets Pluto and Mars. Mars is all about action and fighting and willpower and strength and protection. And Pluto is all about deep purging and destruction and the subconscious mind and death and rebirth. So if you combine all of that, I mean, right off the bat, it just sounds chaotic, but like in a high vibration, it is extremely potent energy for reshaping who you are and what you want to become and the trajectory of your life. So this is an incredible season because we're also moving through, in the Northern Hemisphere, fall, in the Southern Hemisphere, spring. And because we're all sharing the earth and everything here is in polarity, we as humans are, yes, I mean, you're probably only on one side of the earth for the majority of the season, but we're really experiencing energetically both seasons simultaneously. One will likely be more present in your life depending on your geographic location. But what we are doing right now is going through release, is going through that fall sort of purge. Colors are changing. We're understanding things differently. There's a perspective shift. True people, like people's true colors are coming out. We're really starting to be illuminated with a lot of new information about who these people are, how we want to interact with them, and who we are. Our colors are changing. So I want you to really this season, and this is something that I'm trying to be very intentional with as well, is to always bring it back to you. Because that's really where your power is. Not like, look what these people are doing. Look how I'm feeling because these people are making me feel that way. Look at these situations. Look at what this, asshole or this boss or this jerk or this ex or this lover. It's like, no, it's coming back to you. It's like, how are you feeling about that situation? How is it making you vicariously, like in your body? Where do you feel the energy moving? Is it bringing up old traumas? Is it bringing up fears? Is it bringing up a sense of rejection or a sense of I deserve more? So like bringing it back to you and understanding how you're feeling in response to this situation, and then choosing how you wish to react is going to be a really important theme this month, especially because we also have Mars, which is one of the ruling planets of Scorpio. Mars will be retrograde very, very soon. He's already in his pre-shadow period. He will be retrograde, I believe, by the end of the month. And he is retrograding in Gemini. So Gemini is our thoughts, our ideas, how we communicate, what we communicate, how we process information. So we've been processing a lot lately because this might get a little confusing for some people, but some people will follow. So I'm just going to go with it. Gemini's ruling planet is Mercury, and Mercury just finished a retrograde. And Mars, which is Scorpio's ruling planet, is in Mercury, and Mars is retrograding. So like, if you think about it from like the area of the sky, which is going to be Gemini, where Mars is, and then we have Libra, where Mercury is. But Mercury is still connected to Gemini, and Pluto is still, and Mars is still connected to Scorpio. So there's like this double overlap happening. And what this means energetically is that in this space, we are now having new awareness, Mercury in Libra. We're having a new awareness around what we need in our relationships, our relationship to ourselves, our relationship to others, our relationships in love, our relationships with family, with money, with food, with all of like how you connect to the world around you. So we have all of this new insight because Mercury finished a retrograde very recently, and now he's moving forward through Libra. So we have all this information about all these relationships and what we really want and how to process everything that has happened over the last couple of weeks, the last couple of months, maybe the last couple of years, if some of these connections have been really ongoing for you guys. And with that awareness, we then have in the area of the sky that represents Gemini, which is tied to that Mercury shift. So all this awareness, we have Mars slowing down to go retrograde, which is asking people to stop and think about how they want to act and where they are putting their energy. Because Mars retrograding right now, it's going to be a long retrograde, and it's asking us to make sure that our words and our actions are in alignment. And if they're not in alignment, then we need to take all of that information from Mercury, from our relationships, from how we want to relate to the world. And we need to reinvest our time and our energy and our focus into new ways of doing things. Because Mars in Gemini is asking us to brainstorm, to think outside the box, to shift the way we look at things. So in a nutshell, the combination of the two is really saying, where are you going? Why are you going there? How do you feel about the direction you're going in based off of the experiences you've been having within all of the relationships in your life over the last couple months? So we have this opportunity now to take all of that information and to apply it into this Scorpio season, which is giving us heightened intuition. So what really feels good for me inside? Where is true alignment for myself? And then with that alignment, being able to stand in the power of Scorpio and say, I'm going to transform all this energy. I'm going to tap deeper into my strength. I'm going to take control, take control of myself, because I can't control anything around me. The only thing I can control is my reaction. The only thing I can control is the story I'm telling myself in my head. The only thing I can control is where I'm investing my time, my energy, my money. So you need to be careful through this season, because we will be tempted to fall back into our old patterns. We will be tempted to fall back into maybe old addictive behaviors or impulsive behaviors. We could be tempted to fall into really sexual behaviors. We could be falling into anything that can be self-destructive, but not necessarily in a good way. Because self-destruction can be healthy when you are destroying the old ego and the old stories, and you are choosing to stand in your power and rewrite a new story for yourself. That's good destruction, but not self-destruction. Like, I know I should be doing these things, but instead I'm going to fall back into chaos. I'm going to fall back into my comfort zone. I'm going to fall back with these people or these behaviors or these patterns. So there's a bit of a fork in the road right now. And then you want to apply eclipse season to that. And it's like amplified emotions, amplified results. So a lot of maybe sudden changes, sudden endings, new beginnings, new connections. And we really just kind of need to trust this process, because it can be very uncomfortable for a lot of people. Now, the Sun and Venus both moved into Scorpio together at the same time, which is quite rare. And there's an illumination around our addictions to pleasure, or our addictions to short-term pleasure. And maybe the word addiction feels a little strong, but think about like, oh, I don't really need to eat, but like, I'll just eat this food because it makes me feel good, or because it gives me a little sense of pleasure, really. I don't really need another coffee or need coffee at all, but I really enjoy in the morning, waking up, having my coffee, going through your routine. But then like, do you also realize that you have like a little bit of struggling anxiety? Your mind doesn't really calm down. You're hyperactivated throughout the day, and not necessarily in a productive way, in a way that makes you feel anxious or stressed. You can't focus your energy. Then it's like, why are we continuing to drink caffeinated beverages if we also are struggling with anxiety? Like, hello, they are directly associated. So like, we need to get into saying, okay, I'm going to recognize that this is just a comfortable pattern. And maybe at some point it was really working for me, and now I don't think it's working for me, or I'm looking to try something different because Mars retrograde in Gemini. I'm looking to actually pause this for a second and to back up and to reflect on how this is actually making me feel. And instead, I'm going to move forward, applying new techniques for my morning routine. So maybe you switch to matcha, or you switch to something like even a green tea that's way less caffeinated than coffee, or you just stop caffeine altogether, you pull yourself off of it slowly, and then you just start with warm water and lemon or whatever. Like, this is a time for us to be really brainstorming and to be kind of doing a little bit of trial and error and seeing what's really working for us. Of course, there's always like health practitioners and professionals you can talk to about making those decisions, and I suggest you do, but like, this is the time to do that. This is the time to start testing alternative methods, because what you've been doing to get here is not what needs to be done to get you to the next space, especially if a lot of the decisions you've been making up until now have been based off of subconscious fears or programs or insecurities or survival. Because when you think about Scorpio energy, it's connected directly to the sex organs. The sex organs are right by the root chakra. Our root chakra is tied to a sense of security, a sense of survival. So it's like, maybe you needed to make certain decisions. Maybe you needed to numb yourself out, for example, because you were dealing with some sort of trauma at a young age, or you have a lot of unprocessed emotions that you never really got to sit with and feel and process how you felt when your parents divorced, or how you felt after that breakup, or how you felt when you lost that thing that you really valued. And you maybe, in order to not feel, because nobody wants to feel, guilty, nobody wants to feel filled with shame, nobody wants to experience pain, we start a self-soothing technique. So maybe you start drinking or smoking weed, or you start eating for comfort, or you do these things. And like, that's fine. You don't need to beat yourself up for it. It served a purpose because it really was helping you heal in those moments. But at some point we need to look in the mirror and be like, is this even serving me anymore? And like, if it's not, how do I release that? Well, this is going to be a great season to go through that release and to go through that purging, and to also dive into the subconscious mind, because Scorpio rules the subconscious mind, and to figure out, what is the pain behind the trigger? What is the root of the issue? What do I need to look at back there so that I can actually reconcile it, heal that space within myself, and then it will offset those impulses. And then simultaneously, we look at, when I have that impulse, what is my go-to behavior? And say, I don't want to do this anymore because this behavior is out of alignment with where I'm going. Now, it's really important to pay attention to these things right now, because we also have Pluto, which is the ruling planet of Scorpio. Pluto is now moving direct, and Pluto is moving direct in Capricorn. Capricorn is tied to our structures, our habits, our routines, what we do for safety, how we use our resources. Your resources are time, energy, money. Capricorn is tied to karmic patterns. Capricorn is tied to like investment and result. Investment and result. So what do you get from the investments in your life? And that can be financial, that can be time, love, energy, attention, all of that. So we move into Scorpio season with the sun illuminating Venus, because they moved into Scorpio together. So we move into Scorpio season with the sun illuminating our pleasures, and our pleasures in a Scorpio space. So addictive pleasures, or pleasures that don't necessarily serve us anymore to the degree that they once did. And at the same time, we have Pluto, which is connected to Scorpio, moving forward, which is saying like, hello, shift these, rebuild these. And what is it that we're rebuilding? We're rebuilding routine. We're rebuilding habits. We're rebuilding long-term structures that we will continue to enhance throughout the rest of our life, because we need to shift the narrative. At the same time, Saturn will be moving direct. This happens, I think, this week, actually. Saturn moving direct is happening in Aquarius. Saturn is also connected to Capricorn energy, so it also is a focus on patterns, behaviors, structures. And while Saturn moves through Aquarius, Aquarius is asking us to reinvent ourselves. Aquarius is an air sign that focuses on thought, that focuses on process, that focuses on community, that focuses on understanding a system and then recreating the system to work in a better way. Understanding a structure and then destroying the structure and recreating the structure in a way that works more efficiently in a higher vibration. So like, I'm pretty sure every fucking movement that I've just talked about over the last 15 minutes is talking about restructure and deep purging and letting go of these old things that don't work for you. And it's time for us to actually take action in doing that and to use this Scorpio season to stand in our power and to allow ourselves to expand in new ways, to give yourself permission, to take your power back from these external influences, to take your power back from your family who says that you shouldn't do something, or society who says that you can't do something, or your ex that you still think about, or these drugs that you go to self-soothe, or the stories that you tell yourself, wherever you're giving your power away, you're investing into these things that aren't for you. This is the time to be like, fuck that, pull all my energy back, cut all of these cords and stand in my power and say like, who am I now? And what do I want to be doing? Where do I want to go? And then we need to start creating that reality, which is by like connecting with new people, telling yourself a new story, waking up in the morning and getting into a new routine. And it's not easy. It takes time and it takes patience. But if you can commit to that for the next 30 days, you will find that you have so much more power behind it as we get into Sagittarius season, and then we start going through into the next year. Because like we're also coming up to the end of this astrological year and the end of this like annual year, or like the January year. So this is a time to really be aware of like, is this where I want to be next year? And not that this is good or bad, but like, how do I either commit deeper to the things that are really working for me and expand on those? Or how do I begin to shed the layers of the things that I don't want any longer? Shedding the layers is really important. Scorpio is connected to the snake. Scorpio is also connected to the scorpion, and it is also connected to the phoenix. So the snake, and this is the card that I pulled, the King of Wands is a snake. It's the same card that fell out today at the other workshop I was talking at. And this is an opportunity for us to really like shed the skin, And if you see a snake shedding skin, and they're bringing this image through so clearly right now for me, it's like the skin almost like it raises a little bit and it becomes like loose, right? That happens on and around their eyes too. So these snakes are at like their most vulnerable space. They're at their most vulnerable time when they're shedding their skin, because they can't even actually see clearly because they've got this like film over their eyes. So they're trying to see like, where the fuck am I going? I really need to trust my senses right now. I need to trust the environment around me and what I'm energetically picking up from the environment, because I literally cannot see. Like I am blinded. I have this, it's almost like cataracts over the eyes. Like you can actually see the eye below the skin that is shedding, but they can't see through it. So it's like, they're so vulnerable. They're probably fucking terrified. And they're trusting their path. They're trusting the vibes around them to keep them safe until they can crack through that skin and literally pull it off. And then they slide out and they're like fucking beautiful. They're shiny. They're like fresh. And it's like, that is where we are right now. Like our vision is starting to really fog, if it's not already fully fogged. Like we're in a space of like, what the fuck is happening? Where am I going? Where is this leading me? Why are all of these connections being pulled from my life? Why are all of these things falling through? Why is it that I'm seeing people's shadows so strongly around me that I have no choice but to leave and to move in a different direction? And like, that's what we are going through right now, is this confusing shift. And it's very empowering and it's beautiful and it's part of the process. And like, I don't want to focus so much on like, oh, I'm so powerless in this space, because you're not. But you don't have control over it. And the only thing you can control, again, is yourself and your reaction. So while all of this deep, intense shifting is happening, because we also have, again, Mars going retrograde, we have Pluto direct, we have Saturn direct, we just had Mercury go direct. It's like, and we're moving into a new season, and we're coming into eclipse season. It's as if the snow globe is being shaken right now, and we're just like waiting for all the snow to like settle so we can be like, okay, cool, now I can move forward in a good way. And it's just like, while it's being shaken, like, what do? Do you fight it? Do you try to grab each little thing of snow? Like, no, think about you being in a snow globe, truly like inside of it. If you were trying to grab the pieces, every time you reach your hand, you add more current to the water and you reignite the snow. The snow's now mixed up even more. So like, you trying to make sense, you trying to take control of the situation, the only thing you could do in that snow globe is literally sit like this and not move and hold your breath and just pray that it passes and just trust that you will have clarity as soon as the snow settles. And it will settle, and that lens will peel off and the skin will shed, and you will be out of that soon enough. But in the meantime, what do you want for yourself? Who do you want to be when you come out of this? Who do you want to be when we have the green light and we have the clarity and we can move forward? Right now is the time to use this Scorpio energy to tap into the subconscious mind and release the programs that hold us back, the self-sabotaging tendencies, the old addictive patterns. And the addictions can even just be like, I am addicted to this story. I am so addicted to the idea that I am just always a victim. Or I am so addicted to love. And it's like, I'm always looking for love, chasing love, trying to find love. When I have love, I want to keep it. And then I'm trying to hold on to it so much. I'm trying to fix the situation and that person, and then they leave. And then I'm trying to, and it's like, where does your rush come from? Where does that rush come from? Really be aware of what is causing that heat to build, because it's probably not as productive as you think it is. It can probably be harnessed and channeled in healthier ways. And as soon as you start to really be aware of how it shows up, when it shows up, what are your triggers, and then you go a step further, why is this triggering? Is it because I have abandonment issues? Is it because I have imposter syndrome? Is it because I had, a really uncomfortable sexual experience at some point in my life and I'm really triggered by this type of experience? So it's like, what is the trauma behind it? What is the root behind it? And like, now is an opportunity for us to dive into that through this season. So this is a great season for breath work. This is a great season for any kind of energy work. If you can do talk therapy, if you've ever been interested in like, oh, maybe I'll talk to a professional, which I think everyone here should absolutely be talking to a professional at least once a month. It's like, do it. Like, this is the time to like purge that shit. And purging doesn't always need to be like, I'm barfing and I'm crying and I'm heartbroken. Like, purging can just be like a big deep exhale and you're like, wow, that just clicked. I understand why I feel rejection. I understand why. And maybe it was something that just happened in school with a teacher telling you to keep your mouth closed or what. It's like, there's whatever the story is and wherever it comes from. Now is the time for us to literally remove it. And like, you are not your story. You are not your ego. You are not even who you actually think you are right now in this moment, who you are identifying as. You are not that person. That is the story you hold. That is the ego that has created an identity for you and with you. And you've got this story that, I'm a teacher. I like to drink wine to relax. I have, this asshole that I'm dating. And it's just like, what? You can literally change all of those things, literally. Like, you don't have to identify with the story anymore. You don't have to identify with whatever the story other people are giving you. And you don't have to accept or integrate the projections that other people are putting onto you. And Scorpio season is going to have you in a space of discernment where you're like, is this even my narrative? Like, I've had some really close people say some really fucked up shit to me lately. And like, one of them was like, you're not even a real healer. You're a fucking fraud. And part of me was like, yeah, like taken back by that. Like, is that even true? Like, that's not true. And like, that's really fucking weird to hear from people who are like family members or people that are really close to you. But like, being able to step back and to realize you're a fucking fraud, you're fucking lying, you are lying about all of these other things, and you're trying to project that onto me and to get in my fucking head to disempower me when you know I am all of these things that I claim to be. And that in itself is intimidating to you. That in itself makes you feel powerless. So you're trying to take my power by projecting onto me your story. I was just like, what are you talking about? So it's like, it's an incredible time for us to be able to receive messages from the universe, from the people around you, and to actually say like, is this even mine? Is this yours? Is this stemming from fear? And then trust me, oh my God, it takes everything inside of me to not want to like, read the shit out of this person just as like a full-blown psychic Gemini, and like I have a little bit of like a fuck you energy inside of me where I could just like really hurt somebody with my words. And like, I'm just not going to do that because that's not a good investment of my time. I'm going to just clear this out and I'm going to realign myself with like a deeper practice that allows me to stand even more in my power, that allows me to be an even better healer, that allows me to be an even better teacher, that allows me. So yeah, I went online, I bought a bunch of sound balls, I bought a shruti, I bought a bunch of new cards. I'm just like, fuck this. Like, I'm just going to dive even deeper into it. And that's what you need to do with Scorpio season, is like dive into yourself as deeply as possible to understand like, what is my story and my truth and my real truth, not my ego truth. Like, you know, I'm X, Y, or Z, but like, do these labels even really resonate anymore? Do these labels even really, they're just labels. They're just labels. You can literally peel a label off a bottle. So like peel the label off, like peel it off, put on a new one and integrate that knowledge. The cards that I pulled, we have the Father of Wands, which was that King of Wands energy, which is us taking action in new ways. This is a very feeling like a Marsy type energy. Mars is retrograde. So really, again, just reflecting on, actually true, Mars is retrograde in Gemini, and this is the third house, which is Gemini. So that's great. I have a 3 of Cups here as well. So really just understanding how we want to take action and when also, because not everything needs to be done today. This 3 of Cups though, I feel like community right now, like, is going to be so important for everybody because it's going to allow us to process. And I mean like real community, like a small, tight-knit group of people that you can like really share yourself with, that you can really brainstorm with, people that you respect their opinions. Like those are the types of people that you want to be connecting with, that you want to be conversing with, because like they're going to help you through this time. This time, I don't want to say this is going to be like a super crazy intense time and we're not going to be able to handle it. Like that's not true at all. But like, there's going to be a lot coming up and you are going to see a lot of other people's shadows coming up over the next 30 days. You're going to see a lot of other people's impulsive behaviors. You're going to see a lot of things mirrored back to you where you're just like, oh my God, the fact that I am attracting this experience and this person into my life is to teach me something. What about this person am I so turned off by? And what in me is resonating with that, maybe to a lesser degree or a more amplified degree, but like, how is it that everyone around me is like, we're all a mirror, we're all attracting these experiences to learn from. And I just think it's a really important time for us to have a group of people that we really trust and connect with so that we can process those conversations. Because trust me, if I was left with some of the comments I've been given over the last 4 weeks, like if I didn't have real good people who are like, these people are fucked, like that's totally a projection. These people have addictive cycles. These people have bullshit, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh my God, I'm not fucking crazy. I know that's exactly what I'm getting from this situation too. But then I'm just here like in my house, walking in circles, trying to figure it out. It's like, you need people, right? So make sure you've got that good group. And then we've also got Mother of Pentacles reverse. So I just feel like before we decide to invest into anything right now, it's more like, let's just breathe. Let's just breathe and see what shifts over the next couple of weeks. Of course, life goes on. And, you know, if you've been trying to, like if you've been really wanting to do something for a while and now's the time, then like, don't just blindly listen to me. If it feels right, go for it. If it doesn't work out, you'll learn something great from it anyways. But I just feel like it's not necessarily the time for us to be like rushing into decisions, rushing into like big investments, just because like this Mars retrograde is going to have us really reevaluating things, you know, come the springtime. Like once we get into February, March, we're going to have so much clarity around around a lot of things. And yeah, if you can right now, just like take a pause for a little bit, just take a pause for a little bit and focus more on the internal clearings, the reestablishing boundaries, the reestablishing routines, the deep healing. Like that's going to be a better use of energy than you being like, I'm going to go buy this and I'm going to invest all this time in this. And it's just like you very likely will feel differently about it in a couple weeks. So just, also take that with a grain of salt. If like that's not resonating for you, you do you, but that would be my suggestion. Okay. I think we got through most of this stuff. We are going to do a meditation and we're going to have a Q&A. We also, I'm going to announce the tarot lottery winners here as well. So I might as well just do that because I see a note here. So again, thank you guys all. If you entered, we get literally hundreds, if not thousands of requests a month for personal tarot card readings, which obviously is impossible. And the readings used to be like $300 and it was a lot of energy for me. And it was just like this whole thing. So we've switched it to tickets are $11 and you can buy as many tickets as you want. And then we draw 3 winners and it's just like totally chosen by the universe. And it's simpler. It's obviously a lesser toll on myself as well. And it's completely random. So I feel better about that instead of just like choosing people or putting you on a waiting list for 3 years that like, why would I do that? So the 3 winners that we have, I don't know if they're here. If they are, that's great. But we have Sandra Mickelson. Daniela will email everybody this week and go through the process to receive it. The second winner we have is Jenny Findley. And the third winner we have is Jeremy Newton. So congratulations. I'm super excited to, it is nice. I do really enjoy doing personal readings. And we're going to try to open up some more of these lotteries more often instead of just 4 times a year. But yeah, it is cool. I'm excited to tap into some people's energies and give you some advice. So thank you. And yeah, those will come out this week. And the next one will be open, I guess in the new year or something. We do it quarterly. Okay. We are going to settle into the meditation. It'll be about 10 minutes and then we'll have a Q&A. I also like to just acknowledge that the majority of the people here are settlers on the land that they're on, and there's Indigenous communities that were here long before us. So yeah, just keep in mind the need and responsibility for reconciliation. If you're buying sage, ask them at the shop, like, is this Indigenous grown sage from an Indigenous company? And they'll tell you yes or no. And don't buy it if it's not. And deaf people are real. So caption your content, hire an interpreter if you can. Deaf people want to be included as well, right? So we are going to get into the meditation. If you want to just close your eyes or lay down. First thing I want everyone to do is to just take a deep breath. So you can just inhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold it at the top. And release. We'll do one more. So let's inhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold. And release. Now see if there's any tension in the body that can be relaxed. So maybe just really dropping your shoulders, unclenching your jaw. You can allow your mouth to even open slightly. Take the tongue off the roof of the mouth and let it just sit. I want you to feel the seat beneath you, really holding you and supporting you in this space. See if you can get just 10% more relaxed. Maybe take another inhale, and on the exhale, just really let yourself sink into a safe space as we fall deeper into the subconscious mind. The subconscious that Scorpio rules. We're going to look at some programs or blocks. So the first thing I want you to do is to just think of any relationship in your life where you feel a drain. Could be family, friends, a lover, an ex. It can be work. Any connection where you feel that you are showing up fully, but they are not showing up fully. There's an imbalance. Maybe there's just excuses. Maybe there's a bit of a power struggle where they try to dictate to you what you need to do. Maybe there's a few different people standing in front of you, a few different projects or ideas, a boss, a collaborator, a friend, an ex-lover. And I want you to just feel how you give your power away. Maybe it's by getting involved in a discussion that you don't need to have. Maybe it's wondering, why the fuck did that happen? Why did that happen? Why did that happen? Why did that happen? Thinking about what other people are doing. I wonder who they're spending their time with. I wonder if something's happening that I'm unaware of. When you know you don't even want to be involved anyways. Now, I want you to imagine that this person or these people are standing in front of you. And at your solar plexus, where your stomach is, your power center, I want you to imagine that there's a cord or multiple cords coming out, and they're attached to these people. They're attached to these situations. They're attached to these connections. And then I want you to feel all of the emotion and the energy that is flowing between these cords. So frustration, anger, sadness, disappointment, rage. Maybe the cords change color, or they get heavier, or they get bigger. I want you to give yourself permission to release these cords and release these attachments. And then literally grab them at your stomach and unplug them from your energy center. And just feel a sense of release and relief. And watch all of those people, those situations begin to drift further away, and they take the cord with them because you have untethered them. You have unconnected them. You have disconnected them. You have removed the attachment and they're floating off into the distance. And look down at your solar plexus and where all of those holes are. Just cover it with your hand and fill it with white light. And seal it off. Seal it back into you. Allow you to keep the power for you. And now I want you to imagine an older version of yourself standing in front of you. Maybe it's last week, maybe it's last year, maybe there's a few different versions of yourself, maybe your teenage years, or you see yourself as a child. And I want you to be aware of this version of yourself and the thought patterns, the energetic ideas, the imprint of this version of you. I want you to see it. I want you to see that version of yourself maybe scared or stressed, or you feel like you're not worthy, you're not good enough. Maybe there's imposter syndrome. And then I want you to think about the current version of yourself and how you give away your power to this older version by continuing to carry the narrative forward, continuing to have the same fears. And then feel all of that, feel the frustration, or maybe you need to feel powerless. Feel the sadness, the anger, maybe you're heartbroken, disappointed. And then I want you to look down at your solar plexus, and I want you to see that there's a cord attached between this version of yourself and the past version of yourself. And I want you to give yourself permission to release these old stories, to release this old version. I want you to send gratitude for this version of yourself getting you here, for the lessons that you learned. If there's a message from this version of yourself, you can ask for it now. And then with grace and gratitude, just grab the cord and unplug the cord and watch that version of yourself just walk away or drift off. And then with your hand, cover the hole, seal it closed. Allow yourself to hold all of your power, hold all of your energy for this current version of yourself. And now the last thing I want you to do is to look behind you, and there's going to be a big golden mirror. It's a full body mirror. And I want you to see your future self in this reflection. This is the version that you're calling in. This is the version we are now connecting with. This is the version that you will connect deeper with through this next cycle, where you are strong mentally, physically, emotionally, energetically. You are loved. You are full of self-love, self-respect. You are in full acceptance of who you are, your flaws, your gifts, your divine beauty. And I want you to see this version of yourself and feel the energy, feel the confidence radiating from this version of yourself. I want you to feel proud of how far you've come, showing up for yourself and others. I want you to see this version of yourself and to acknowledge the struggle that you've been through to get here. Understanding that you deserve all of the things you desire. I want you to see this version of yourself at peace, full of love, surrounded by true connections, intimacy, abundance of health and wealth and peace and prosperity. What are you doing? What are you wearing? How do you feel? And now I want you to step into the mirror and give yourself a hug and hold this version of yourself while you begin to merge these identities, giving yourself permission to experience this version of yourself, giving yourself permission to be fucking amazing. And we're going to lock this energy into the subconscious mind. So we're going to take a deep breath. So let's inhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold. And we're going to release any doubt on the exhale as we exhale, 2, 3, and 4. Just giving yourself a minute to feel if there's any emotions or energies coming up, if there's been any sort of shift. If you don't feel anything, I can promise you there has already been an energetic shift that will begin to mature over the coming weeks. And just maybe place your hands over your heart space and give gratitude for yourself for being here right now doing this work. Gratitude to your guides, gratitude to all of those people you let go of, the older versions of yourself, your past, your present, your future. And if there's anything else you want to be grateful for, now is the time. And then I want to just turn our hands outward. So you can raise your hands in the air. And all of those people, all of those versions of yourself that you let go of, anybody else that needs this level of love, that needs this level of forgiveness or awareness or healing, just send them the energy from a distance. You don't need to be involved in their story any longer, at least not for now. You don't need to be tied down to it or caught up in it. We can just wish them well. And they will receive that energetic intention. And then when you're ready, you can bring your hands back down to your side. You can start to stretch out your body a little bit. You can come back into the space. And we will focus on questions and answer period. You guys can come back to that meditation anytime. We will also have the new moon eclipse workshop on Tuesday. It will be uploaded. There will be a different meditation in there. There's also on our website, and I'm going to get Jay to just adjust the pricing. We have a Mercury and a Mars retrograde workshop. Mercury is no longer in retrograde, so I'm going to price it at 50% off. So it'll be $11.11 instead of $22. It also comes with a workbook. It focuses on this Mars retrograde, which is a long cycle. Mars won't be out of post-shadow retrograde period until the spring. So this is a long transit. And although the Mercury retrograde information is not necessarily happening in this moment, everything we talk about from that Mercury retrograde that is an initiation point. So that energy is still being carried through. So even if you do watch it, when I'm talking about the Mercury retrograde stuff, you don't have to like fast forward or sit there and be like, oh, why am I listening to this? It's still going to be very helpful, especially if you're trying to make sense of everything that is like going on right now, because Mercury has now moved direct. So we're beginning to now navigate through the description of what I'm talking about in that video. So it's that was probably one of my favorite workshops I've ever done. I was in like a different channel space that time, and there was just so much channeling through there. So that was like a fucking killer workshop, and it's going to be 50% off now as well. And it comes with a workbook. So yeah, if you guys are interested, you'll know where to find it. It's on the website. I also, on my YouTube, I am now starting to do just like random channeled messages with different cards, and the messages that are coming through are crazy. It's a totally different vibe than like, not totally different vibe, but it's a different vibe than like the monthly horoscopes. So check out, and those are all free. Check out, there's a few relationship pick-a-piles and a Scorpio season pick-a-pile, and then there's just other random ones. So check it out on my YouTube. It's just Chris Corsini. And those are fucking litty titty. I'm probably going to do another one of those today, maybe, because I feel called to. So we'll see. Okay. I'm going to open up the chat and take a peek. That was one heck of a release. I cried. Yes. Good. Good, good, good. Crying is good. Crying is very good. All right. Any questions can go directly into the chat. Any advice for Scorpios about to enter a Saturn return during? I mean, I'll just say in general, a Saturn return is, it's a long journey. It's a couple years and you will be an entirely different person. So anybody going through their Saturn return, it happens around age 20. It's gonna be different for everyone, but it's usually around like 27 to like 31, like in that time frame somewhere, because Saturn does a full circle, I believe every 29 years. He does a full transit, I guess you could call it. So yeah, your Saturn return, we will all go through a Saturn return around 30, and then you go through another one around 60. And you literally just need to like hands up, whatever is being pulled out, I let it go with grace. Do not attach, do not hold. I think the person said they were a Scorpio, so like, good luck not holding on. Scorpio is so loyal, and Scorpio is so like, they're very attached when they are in it. And then it's like, if they decide to let it go and they want to close the door and lock it, it's probably the door will never fucking open again. So like, I would tune into the like, just let it go, let it go, let it go for anybody going through a Saturn return. We've got also, yeah, we have like a new FAQ up. I believe it's on the website. If not, it'll be up very soon. And we've got a new like customer service system there. So all questions and everything you guys can now find, or very soon you'll be able to find on the website. And it's really, you can get everything on there now. It's super great instead of emailing. What advice do you have on helping root chakra flow? I'm air, so being grounded is a challenge. Root chakra is the lower chakra for anyone who doesn't know. It is right around your sex organs. It is the base of the spine, and it is tied to survival and safety and security. So in order to get that moving, I would definitely say grounding is going to be your number one technique, which is going to be like literally touching the actual earth, like getting outside, taking your socks off, putting them in soil. If it's like the winter, then like maybe just sitting with a plant or different plants in your home. Like if you have like a pothos and you can actually like hold one of the vines would be great. You are definitely going to want to stop drinking caffeine. because caffeine is going to keep you not grounded at all. I would suggest if you want to do a meditation style, either sitting or standing or laying, whatever is fine, but just really allowing your body to sink into being held by whatever is underneath you. And as you sink deeper with each exhalation, you want to envision that roots are like growing out of the bottom of your feet down into the earth's core, and they're going to circle around the core of the earth. And then it's going to start drawing just like white light up the roots, up your feet, up into your legs, up into your body. And you want to just close down the mind. Not entirely close down the mind, obviously, but you want to just like soothe the mind, detach from the thoughts. Another thing that's really helpful is like, one of my coaches taught me this because I'm a double air sign. And I am like erratic mentally at times, especially because I'm psychic and I'm intuitive and there's so much happening. And then you get like just needing to be a human as well. So it's like, yeah, there's a lot going on. A French press, like if you think of, it's got like the little filter, and then they put the coffee in, you pour the hot water, and then you press, and all the coffee is like underneath it, and above it is nothing. But like this is chaos, right? And you push it down, push it down, push it down, push it down until it's pressed at the bottom, and then you just have fresh coffee. So same idea, thoughts, energies, attachments, all this activation, and you just in the same way, like you put that filter above your head and you just press and you press and you press and you do it slowly. I would say give yourself maybe like 30 seconds or like a full minute to like even longer if you can, but like to really go down and really go down, setting the intention that we're clearing the mind, we're grounding into the body, and you push all of that energy down. And you should literally, like even as I'm describing it and doing it now, like I can feel the heaviness, the thickness in my body. That's what you want to aim for, is that like heavy, thick feeling in the body, not the like erratic mind. Any mutable signs will have the crazy mind, which is going to be Virgo, Gemini, and Sagittarius, and Pisces. Any air signs will certainly, so Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, you will definitely have active mind. And depending on where your Mercury is in your birth chart, because Mercury is connected directly to the mind and is the ruler of Virgo and Gemini. Wherever Mercury is in your chart, if it's in like the third house or something like that, like that's also an air house ruled by Gemini. So it's like you'll have a lot of activation, which is great. Like that's like my superpower. Like I wouldn't be able to know what I know and do what I do and like use sign language and channel and speak and interpret and understand spirit. Like I wouldn't be able to do that if I wasn't an air sign ruled by Mercury with all these strong placements. So like it's literally my superpower. But then it's also, if it's working against me, I'm like hyper fixated, I'm stressed, I'm anxious, I think I'm dying, I'm thinking of every scenario, why it's going to happen. It's like, so it's both sides, right? It's the polarized experience, which is everything here on earth. So yeah, grounding is going to be really, really helpful. Yeah, somebody's talking about stones as well. Yeah, you could go get a bracelet or just keep a stone in your pocket. Something dark would be good, or something red and earthy. But just pick whatever stone you feel drawn to. It's probably the one you need. What is a good resource for understanding what signs and influences rule different houses? Ugh, you know what? Like I just kind of like watch YouTube and yeah, I kind of just watch YouTube and learn from there, but from like reputable, like somebody who's got like, 1,000, like 80,000, 100,000 followers is someone good. Jane Tarot, Jane Tarot is fucking awesome. And she does tarot and she always mixes in astrology, and she does talk a lot about different astrology things. So like that's how I really got my, not just from her, but like a lot of my knowledge was just consuming so much information all the time and just like seeing the patterns and seeing what's working and seeing how it's showing up in my life and understanding it in my own way. And then it begins to integrate. And you can also take like real workshops, classes and stuff like that. I'm going to host a workshop for beginners in the new year, but we're going through like so much restructuring and rebranding and like development of like master classes and content. Like, so we're not really releasing anything right now. We're still just creating a bunch of stuff and refocusing. But we will have things like that in the new year for sure, like the astrological new year. So like the springtime. Are there any other questions? Sorry, I'm just trying to look at more like general questions so that everybody can really benefit from it instead of like I'm a Pisces moon, what does that mean or whatever, you know? Let me see. Of course, anybody can leave at any time. I'm gonna probably wrap this up in 2 minutes, do 10 after. I just want to see if there's any other. Oh yeah, I really like doing tapping sessions with Gala Darling and Amy Shearer. Okay, I don't know either of those. Oh wait, Gala Darling. I think Roya Darling. Roya Darling is someone that I follow on Instagram who's amazing. She's an intuitive. She's also one of my coaches and energy workers. She's great. Gala Darling might also be somebody. I don't actually know. And it says Gala here, so look that up. But tapping sessions are great. And tapping is literally just this. So you're going to tap the heart chakra. You're going to tap the head chakra. You're going to tap down the face. This is what I was doing this morning at Kriya. Kriya, Kriya, would be fucking awesome for you if you are in your head or if you are trying to transmute or if you are trying to alchemize. Because Kriya, I do Himalayan Kriya, which is a little more free-flowy and less rigid, like traditional, like Kundalini style Kriya. That's like, you need to do this and for like literally 9 minutes. I'm like, girly, my shoulders hurt. Like, how am I supposed to 9 minutes with my arms in the air? So like, I don't know. I see the benefit, but just like for me, sometimes I prefer like switching things up every couple minutes. So anyways, if you look up different Kriyas, Kriya could be really good for you because it involves some tapping, some breath work, some movement, and it's like really somatic and it'll move the shit out of your body. Also just breath work, like literally breath work. Just Google breath work, find one that works for you. And that's really, really grounding, really good at energy. It'll clear your energy out a lot too. Qigong is another one. Qigong. Qigong. It's like energy movement and you like paint these shapes in the air and there's like, I think 80 different movements and you just kind of go from 1 to 80 and it's like a Chinese energy practice. Really, really good for grounding as well. Psychedelic breath is amazing. Yeah, but psychedelic breath is not going to ground you. Psychedelic breath is going to do the opposite. So if you don't want to be blasted off, then like somatic breath work that keeps you in your body and in your senses and your emotions is going to be a bit better. But psychedelic breath work is amazing. Very different intention though. So just be aware of that. Any advice on doing Reiki? Yeah, do it. Do it. Reiki is great. If you don't have your Reiki level 1, I would suggest everybody get it because that's great for moving through your shit. And I'm gonna do another Reiki maybe next weekend. They're not on camera or anything. It's just like a 30-minute. You just like put on some music and lay back and lay with your crystal and you go into a meditative state. And I basically energetically call in everybody on the list. And I can like literally see all these like little, almost like little dots of light in front of me. And I just do the energy work on the dots of light, which connect to you directly. And then you get the clearing. You don't need to be in the same space. You don't need to watch it. Like energy work is, it's a completely different realm. You know what I mean? So it doesn't have to be, we don't have to be connected physically. Okay. I think I will let the interpreter go. I will let the chat remain open for another minute or so, just so if you guys want to copy and paste anything or like just write down anybody's name or something. I just don't want to like close the chat if you're in the middle of something. So I'll give you another minute or so. And yeah, the recording will be sent out tomorrow. And that's it. I would definitely still do the eclipse workshop if you feel called, because I mean, I talked about a lot of the planets and stuff already, so you'll already know what I'm talking about, but whatever. Take it if you want or not. It's going to be helpful though. If you don't do it, still do a new moon ceremony though yourself, because this is a really, it's an eclipse and people are like, you don't do anything on the eclipses. I know, but like also, I don't think setting an intention for you to be a healthier person is going to do you any harm. You know what I mean? So definitely tap in and just like clarify what you want. Fatima just dropped in the Mercury and Mars retrograde link there. I don't know if I can like pin a comment. No, I can't, but I will copy and paste it in here once too. There we go. Okay. Perfect. Sorry, yeah, you can go. I'm like, I'll let you leave, and then I just keep talking. So you can go. I'll see you later. New moon is on Tuesday. Yes. And okay, let me just stop this recording.